Listen, think, act, repeat.
Welcome to the Left-Wing Kingz podcast. Today we're going to be exploring why Tim Walz might be the wrong VP pick, Project 2025's public education proposals, and the top moments of the 2024 Paris Olympics so far. I'm your head moderator in charge of HMIC, Malik. I'm joined today by King Ace.
What up, what up?
King Larry Lai.
Larricon.
Oh, my bad. Larricon, the prophet. And King Matt on the comments, holding it down for us. All right, let's get it cracking, people. On August 6, 2024, Kamala Harris announced her running mate for the 2024 election, and that is Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Now, while Walz brings a lot to the table, the GOP is going to be criticizing him for some of his decisions, which raised concerns on whether he was the right VP pick or not. So here are the 5 criticisms that on Tim Walz that the GOP is probably going to use to attack him during his campaign. Criticism number 1, Tampon Tim. Now that's a motherfucking nickname for your ass. In 2023, Walz signed a bill into law requiring schools to provide free menstrual products in all public school bathrooms. Opponents of Walz feel that putting tampons in boys' bathrooms supports gender transition surgeries for young minors, okay? So that's what they think on that side of the aisle. Now, Ace, how could the signing of this bill come back to bite the Harris-Walz campaign in the ass?
I mean, what they're trying to do is they're trying to paint him as just a radical leftist. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just a progressive, and I think that's what's hurting them is they're trying to use that against the campaign. Like they're going to have a real left agenda. Look, I mean, here he's already putting tampons in boys' restrooms. What else is he gonna do? Pretty much. I don't see it as being a bad thing, regardless. I mean, hell, they ain't never thought about the boyfriend that may need to bring his girl a tampon. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. To me, it was a good bill. It was a great bill, but the GOP is gonna do what they do with it. They're gonna twist it and try to make him out like he's totally against family values. Basically what they're going to do with that.
And I absolutely remember in had to be the early 90s when, AIDS was really popping. They put condom machines in men's and women's bathrooms.
They sure did.
It was not an issue. And I don't think should be an issue either. I think it's the same thing, just like you said. What if an emergency comes up and a female got to go in that bathroom?
Yeah. Most of the boys going to probably take them and do stupid shit with them any damn way. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't never lied. I mean,
balls and
that's the biggest issue.
Or they gonna fuck with their friends. You know what I'm saying?
Mess up the plumbing. That's what they gonna do.
Tape them to the back of their shirt and let them walk out and shit in the hallway.
That's what's gonna happen.
Don't give these motherfuckers no ideas now. They fucking up the plumbing in our public schools.
Those are not those things. Those are tried and true and tested things that have done.
Yeah.
They've already been done.
Mm-hmm. You just putting them out there on display where they can grab them, but dudes were left with them all day long. I mean, either way it goes. I mean, and let's just talk about if it's gender transition. I mean, come on, man. We done opened up this door either way it goes. If that's the way the child's going, that's the way the child's going. I mean, they don't have they don't have the equipment for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, I don't think that. Oh man, they're gonna see a tampon machine in the restroom, and all of a sudden, I think I should be a girl. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that works like that. It doesn't work like
crazy.
that. You know what I'm saying? So, but we know what the GOP is going to do with it or what they're trying to do with it. To me, a lot of it is reaching for something to say about just a guy who's kind of regular anyway. I'm going to attack some of his plans and programs. The matchup is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, she went and got a guy that's kind of, middle America. You know what I'm saying? So let me dig into this. Like, middle America, like almost every dream of a black person's dream to be a white man. You're a white guy, but you kind of know and understand some of the black issues and stuff, and you did something about it. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm not saying he's perfect. I mean, I don't know him that well to know that. But a lot of things that he's done has been really for the people and what the people asked for. And I think that they're going to take that and twist it and just you try to use it to their advantage like they always do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's important to remember that he has been a champion for like LGBTQ.
Yeah. And
it's kind of funny how the Republicans create this persona that they're all about America and freedom, but at the same time, they don't want people to be free. Even let's say that, and I don't agree with this, and I don't think it's true. Like there was a boy in school that wanted to do a transition, like gender transition or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What message are the Republicans sending by saying, hey, are they saying we don't want you to do that? We're not for LGBTQ? Because I'm pretty sure they vote too. You know what I'm saying?
Once again, it's these white Christian nationals who want to stand on family values, but they want to stand on.
But LGBTQ got families too.
I mean, believe you me, but they want to utilize it.
Not like they like.
They want to utilize it when it's convenient for them. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna stand on family values, but then we're gonna back a candidate that does not support family values at all. You know, so we're gonna put all our chips into somebody who doesn't do that at all. But they're going to try to stand on when they talk about LGBTQ. I don't know. I can't do those initials. But either way it goes.
You did it. You good.
You got a couple of them.
I hit a couple
you left
of
some
them.
out.
I hit a couple of them.
LMNOP.
Yeah, I almost went there. You know what I'm saying? But either way, no, shout out to y'all. No things. I'm just, my education. That's where it is. So, I'm not trying to, disrespect anybody. But I mean, yeah. So they back a candidate that has no family values, but they're gonna try to ride on that. You know what I'm saying when they're talking about this. But once again, it's all political strategy for power. That's all it is. We need to say something about this guy. Let's say this. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much.
Yeah. Well, when you speak of freedoms, that leads us to like criticism number 2, and that was the COVID lockdown. So during the COVID pandemic, Walz wielded executive power to close schools, businesses, and churches. And he set up a hotline to snitch on anyone who was ignoring those lockdown measures. Republicans are using this COVID response as proof that Walz wants to roll back your freedoms and your American rights and wants to take your freedoms away. So, Larry, how can Walz use his COVID response to prove that he has the competency to lead in times of crisis?
I believe during COVID, he demonstrated adult leadership. We were in a situation where we really didn't, it was something new, we really didn't understand, and someone had to call the ball versus not doing anything. Because not doing anything left us ill-prepared or unprepared to deal with what was coming. And that was folks ignoring it, saying, no, it's nothing. They went from China's handling it to they're not, it's China. It's the China virus. Someone had to be an adult. It was really no different than in the 80s when, AIDS was, nobody thought about AIDS until AIDS was homosexual males. Yeah. Period. Yep, that's what that was what it was. It was homosexual males. It was not until Rock Hudson died of AIDS that it opened it up to the broader conversation into the broader community. Yep. Because up to that point it was simply homosexual males. Let's get rid of them. Once Rock Hudson died, ultimately we found out he was a homosexual male, and it was like, whoa, I didn't see that. I didn't think anything about it, so it didn't matter. Yeah. The fact that he had been a friend of Reagan, who had ignored both AIDS and the crack epidemic. That's how he addressed it. That's his type of leader. The leadership for that situation was for him to ignore it, versus what Walz did was confront it. Tried to protect the community. Yes, so he was not only protecting Democrats, he was protecting Republicans as well. Everybody. Yep. Your political affiliation didn't matter. It was something that was not understood. He was also following a lot of the guidelines that were being presented at a federal level, primarily from Dr. Fauci, who was our point guy. He was a point guy, and every time we had since maybe the 70s, every time we had some kind of crisis regarding a pandemic, who wouldn't trust him?
Trump.
Trump wouldn't trust him. But when Trump's ass got COVID, Trump went and got the damn antibiotic, the immunities and whatever else.
First one up.
The first one up, and didn't say anything.
Nope.
Yeah. He didn't tell anybody that, but he did it because he ain't he crazy. He ain't a fool.
Yeah. You're right about that.
He still want to live He came out, he talked that shit, but he was like, yo, shoot me up with those give me them antibodies. That's gonna help me live. I'll take that.
He didn't drink none of that bleach. He didn't drink none of that bleach.
He didn't take no bleach. He didn't stick a damn UV light bulb up his ass. He didn't do any of that. His ass took the guidance
with the quickness
that Fauci presented and provided. He didn't listen to none of them kooks. He didn't get the ivermectin. He didn't do any of that stuff. Yeah. He went to what the science proved was effective at that time.
Yeah.
He didn't, so the fact that Walz took an adult approach to that into a situation that we didn't understand, I think that's a plus.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, and people forget about COVID, and COVID, a lot of people died from that, and a lot of people died because nobody made a decision on that.
Mm-hmm.
I say the one thing I always tell people when they have an argument about Trump and they ask me, they want to go back and forth. I say, I got one thing: you can't Trump when you're talking about Trump. He can't govern because he failed at the COVID crisis. He's just straight lied. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people died for it. I said, I got people now that I know that were walking this earth before COVID that ain't walking anymore because of the decisions that he made. And that's just factual. You know what I'm saying? So Tim Walz making a hard decision to lock everything down and make sure everybody was safe, probably saved lives. More likely it did save
There's
lives.
people walking around today that have the ability, the freedom to complain about what he did because of what he did.
Because of what he did.
And there's other people that ignored what he did and said, that ain't here.
Exactly. So, and they like to praise the scientists because the scientists kept everything open, right? They always say that. And then and a lot of things, Florida was different. They have beaches, it's open, it's a warmer climate. But Minnesota's cold. Everybody's locked in and shut in, especially when COVID was out. Whole different scenario. So for him to step up and make those decisions, I mean, like you said, it just shows strong leadership. But once again, the GOP now, looking in hindsight, are going to say, hey, you know what? He was taking away your freedoms. But y'all dropped the ball when it came to managing the whole crisis. That's on y'all's hands. That's your guy that did that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Well, I don't want y'all to drop the ball. You know what I need you to do? Click that like button, okay? And also make sure that you subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz if you want to see more of this content and join the conversations online. Matt, we got any good comments online right now, brother? Let me see what we got. Let me see what we got here real quick. See if I can pull up some of these beautiful comments.
Steve McClintock.
All right.
He seems to come up with a level-headed solution for everything. It's almost like he says, okay, what's the most common sense way to handle a situation? And that's what he does.
Let me see what we got here. So, yeah. Steve McClintock says, just in case they didn't hear my man Matt, I want to make sure we get it into the mic. So he seems to come up with the level-headed solution for everything. It's almost like he says, okay, what's the most common sense way to handle a situation? And then that's what he does. So, sounds good. All right. Then going back to the gender identification issue, Peter Milner, my man Peter, says, this gender identification issue has come out of nowhere and is now a massive issue. There's been controversy over this in the Paris Olympics. Where will it ever settle down into the norm? Yeah, we got some Olympic conversation coming on. We can bring that boxing thing into that as well. So appreciate that, Peter. But let's get back on track with criticism number 3 for Mr. Walz, yeah. George Floyd, the aftermath of George Floyd. So in May 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, there was unchecked chaos in the streets of Minneapolis. Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey said he asked Walz for Minnesota National Guard troops 3 days before Walz provided them. So his opponents state that he allowed rioters to destroy businesses, and the aftermath is still being affecting the businesses and the climate in Minneapolis. So, Dr. Sizer, how might Walz's lack of action sway business owners to vote for the orange businessman?
I actually had the opportunity to go to Minneapolis last year.
I was with you.
You was with me.
That's a whole different trip, man. Hey,
Look, I didn't even remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, I must have made an influence on your ass.
Hey, hey,
That purple,
it was,
that purple persuasion y'all had.
it was
That's a whole different trip.
I was pretty impressed with the city, so I didn't, I readily couldn't identify things that may have been destroyed following the George Floyd situation. But I absolutely understand the unrest that followed it, as that same unrest was or those it was a catalyst for demonstrations across the world, because it was fucked up. Straight up it was.
up.
You killed a black man on TV. I simply cannot. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that with the statement that I asked for troops 3 days before and nothing happened. I don't have that level of detail in terms of his decisions. I just know that his just like a commenter just said, his decision making is pretty pragmatic, which means he thinks about it. If there was an opportunity for him to put somebody in place to tamp down those situations, I absolutely believe that those are measures he would have taken. I can't say yay or nay to what the result would have been had he put National Guard troops in that situation, because oftentimes they're not viewed as peacekeepers. They're viewed as occupying
Yes,
force,
sir. Exactly.
and people are going to vent. And how are those people those regular, typically majority of the time are just regular citizens. Now you got them with rifles. How are they going to respond to a regular community protesting something that was horrendous? The other thing is, Walz came in on the heels of, he was elected, I believe it was 2018. In 2016, Philando Castile was killed up there.
Yeah.
Black man, same town. Black man's killed. Registered and licensed to carry a gun.
Yep.
Cop steps back. He's not pulling out his gun. He's pulling out his ID. Cop kills him. Geronimo, what's his name? Geronimo Yanez, and he's found not guilty. You had the situation in Kim Porter. Officer Kim Porter killed Dante Wright during a traffic stop. She's the one that she thought she grabbed a taser.
Yeah.
And shot him. She got 2 years. Okay. 2017, you had Muhammad Noor. He was investigating a Australian lady, Justine Diamond, made a call, said a suspicious sound outside. She's in the alley. He's back there investigating. He hears a loud sound. He turns around and shoots, kills her. He was, of course, of African heritage.
Right.
His ass was found guilty quick like that. Got like 10, 14 years, something like that.
Wow. So,
he's dealing, this is an environment and the culture that he's having to navigate while he's making these decisions. And I'm not going to say that, this stuff needed to be burnt down, because there was absolutely one situation when if you recall, there was a white nationalist that went to a pharmacy or tire discounters or something, and threw the bomb in there, and they actually identified him. He had his face covered up and all this stuff. He went in there and actually burned it down.
Yeah.
Just to serve as a catalyst to add credence to the narrative that black people are going wild and just burning shit down, and Antifa, and it was them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's having to that came from, it was in that argument.
Yep.
So all of this, he's navigating all these. You got all this racial discord going on up there. People gonna vent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No doubt.
and they had another election, and they voted for him again.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna judge him. That's a tough situation.
No doubt.
But I can only assume that he made the best decision with the information he was given, and I'm just going to trust that. I don't think his given those same factors in that same decision, I wonder what a lot of people would have done on January 6th, when there was Black Lives Matter protests going on. They had security forces all up and down the Lincoln Monument when they had January 6th. They didn't have nobody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to play the race card of just saying,
They ain't
hey,
playing the race
you know, Philando Castile was probably killed because somebody was scared of black people.
Yeah.
So
You touched on that last week, remember?
Exactly.
Yeah. But, you know, and I just want to jump in and add a little bit behind that is like, you know, I think that, you know, you look at the optics is basically kind of, you look at it like you say, you know, you already have a police shooting, which is an authoritative figure, law enforcement figure that killed somebody. Let me bring in a National Guard. You know what I'm saying? That's going to solve it. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make it look better. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make people going to understand that. Didn't we learn anything from Kent State? You know what I'm saying? When it happened in the 70s, you know, when you answer like that, what happens? And just to, you know, piggyback on January the 6th, like you said, these same people ignore January 6th. We actually had people damage and stuff. Not only did they not they damaged businesses and stuff like that, which are privately owned, they damaged the Capitol.
Yeah. The people's house.
The people's house.
The house that we all own.
They attacked America.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. And these same people, like Josh Hawley, were praising them on, leading them on, and telling them how to do that. And in this country, you have a party that ignores that talks down toward that, but then has enough nerve to say or look at something like this and try to hold this guy accountable when he's running vice president. Oh, you know, he didn't bring the National Guard out. Well, y'all didn't bring the National Guard out. On top of that, y'all didn't y'all don't talk against it, and y'all don't talk about the people who didn't bring out the National Guard.
You call them hostages.
Exactly. And I'm gonna give it to you. Y'all support Trump that sat there for 3 hours and watched it on TV.
Watched it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then tried to say Nancy Pelosi was supposed. Really? This is the guy you want to lead the country. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you shifting gears a little bit.
I know, but you know, y'all opened it up. That's y'all's fault. That's y'all's fault. No, you can't.
I'm trying to. Yeah, we're gonna let him slide.
Can't give me an inch, man. I'll take a mile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but
I knew he was coming up.
Yeah, but that's basically. But the optics is horrible on that, and because, like you said, this dude made a great decision with the information he was given. They want to hold him accountable for that. Like you say, once again, that's another great example of great leadership. You know what I'm saying? So.
Exactly. And I want to just piggyback off of what both of y'all said and just point out, like, Trump even said, first off, when it happened, Trump said, you did a great job.
He called them up. They got to record it.
They knocked them all down like bowling pins.
They have a
with
recording.
With the National Guard, you did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Now, he's saying he didn't call them in fast enough. You know what I'm saying? Now he's saying, I called them in for him. He's trying to take credit. It's crazy how...
That's not leadership.
That's not leadership at all. Leadership allows other people to shine when they do the right thing,
Yes.
and you give kudos to the people on your team for doing what needed to be done. Not trying to take credit from those individuals. And Tim Walz did a great job of, like everybody said at this table, assessing the situation, waiting until the right time, and then putting the proper tactics into place to execute a plan. Right? That's what he did, and that's why it fucking worked. Not because he just jumped in at the first, sign of danger with some bullshit, right? And that even goes back to his other decision. So, I mean, let's talk about another decision that they're probably going to use as criticism for my man, and that's abortion rights or reproductive rights. So in 2023, Walz signed a Protect Reproductive Options Act into law in Minnesota, making abortion access to contraceptives, fertility treatment, sterilization, and other reproductive health care a fundamental right in their state. So Republicans opposed that law, which failed to add amendments that ban third trimester abortions and require the clinics or the physicians to be licensed. So Ace, how will the pro-lifers use this against the Walz or the Harris-Walz campaign?
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to paint a picture like he's out there killing babies. That's what they're going to make it look like. You know what I'm saying? And that's really where they go for it. Like, for instance, they're not taking intact to where somebody's actually at a point in the human. Like, they'll say something ridiculous, like almost like babies coming out the womb and they're killing them right then and there. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous when you go with these pro-lifers. And once again, they just want to paint them as extreme, leftists to where they just basically won't let anybody get an abortion for any reason. A lot of the things that he had when I looked up on it, they're going to protect people against rape, incest, and medical conditions to where they're going to lose the baby. You know what I'm saying? Which that's basically what abortion's really set up for. Nobody's going to do any late abortions or anything of that nature that are going to kill the baby and be ridiculous like that. But that's how they're going to paint it, the pro-lifers. They've
had to remind Trump within the last few weeks. He was on something and he said they abort the baby after they're born. They were like, sir, that's murder. No, that's totally not true. Yeah. But it's just amazing to me that people actually think like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone who believes abortion should be a birth control method.
No.
I also sit up here and have to look at people and wonder how you are so willing to protect the fetus, but when the baby is born, you shit on them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't want to give them nothing. You pointing at the parent, the mom saying, well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have it. And the fact of the matter is, if they banned abortion nationally, abortion is still going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just only going to happen for the people that have the means to pay for it. Even if they got to go to Canada, if they got to go to Europe or whatever they're going to do, because again, Emily, some families are not going to let Emily have Jamal's baby.
Yeah.
They going to put her on a plane. She's going to fly over to France, and she going to come for the summer, and she going to come back and start school again.
Yeah.
The only issue is going to be for those underprivileged in America that are having these babies that you're not going to want to, you don't want to give them food in school. You don't want them to have food in the summer. Don't want to offer anything to their parents. You're going to shit on them for the rest of their life. They're here now, and it's like, yo, you're on your own.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't understand that, and a lot of times it is the evangelicals and the Christian nationals that are sitting out here spouting out all this BS. And I don't know what part of the Bible says once the baby's born, hey, best of luck. All those Christian values seem to go out the window.
Oh yeah, they we know those white Christian nationalists. They're teetering on what Jesus does. You know what I'm saying? They got their own religion over there, and what they're trying over there. I mean, they ain't reading the same Bible.
I think a new one came out that I ain't
seen.
They
got a new one.
They got a different. They got a different version. There's a different one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always feel this way. I feel that abortion's tied right to majority numbers and census report stuff. Like, they're okay with enough babies happening coming out, as long as they could stay as the majority. You know what I'm saying? Like, we stop doing abortions, we have more babies, we keep our numbers up, we stay in majority rule. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just tied to that. So, like you said, they want to have babies, they're not going to provide for. We don't have the programs for it. We all know people are born in poverty. It's going to rise the incarceration rate and the whole 9 yards. It's just going to be terrible. You know what I'm saying? And people trying to make good decisions through abortion, if it makes sense, not like you said, not with birth control. Yeah. But definitely if they're trying to make good decisions, why go against that? And I think Tim Walz set up to where if you're in Minnesota, you can have those decisions. You can make those choices.
Yeah. It should be, you have the freedom to make a choice, that choice of what you do with your body. Now we go back to freedom. All of a sudden, everybody want free. I want the freedom. I had the nerve during COVID, my body, my choice. Oh, no shit. Wow. Well, damn. Can't a woman make the same decision?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not at that point. It's like, no, that's a decision for the government is going to make that decision for you.
Yeah. I don't want to wear a mask. The government can't tell me to wear a mask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it's millions of people dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the last criticism has to do with decisions as well,
Yeah.
but maybe not the decision of the gun owner, but it does have to do with gun laws. So the criticism number 4 is gun laws. So Walz, an avid gun owner himself, signed a public safety package into law that included a red flag law that allows courts to be petitioned to remove firearms from the possession of anyone who is deemed a danger to themselves or others. Now, gun rights activists and advocates accused Walz of unfairly impacting the rights of lawful gun owners. So, Dr. Sizer, how will gun rights advocates leverage these choices to damage Walz's reputation among his fellow gun owners?
This is not unlike the decision in reference to abortion. Common sense. Common sense. He wants common sense actions taken. Things that make sense. No. Criminals should not have, everyone can agree that criminals should not have guns. You know who else shouldn't have guns? People who are mentally unstable. Because a mentally unstable person can go have a fit and pick up a rock and kill 2 people in a mall.
Yeah.
A person with a rifle,
AR-15.
an AR-15 can go. He got 30 shots. He probably could kill 20.
Yeah.
There's a whole and that's with one magazine.
There's one magazine.
Exactly.
You got more than one magazine.
And so do you want somebody who is unstable, that unfit or that unstable to have access to a weapon? And in all honesty, I wouldn't want that person to have a weapon because they potentially could kill themselves, and that is a decision they make at the spur of the moment, emotional,
That's one
and
of the
they can't
biggest
come back from it.
Yes.
And maybe, then you don't have that conversation where you say, they sit down, could sit in a forum like this and say, one time I felt so bad that I was going to kill myself. If I had a gun, I would have killed myself, but I didn't. I had a rock. I just knocked myself out.
Yeah.
But you can't have that conversation if they have a gun. Is
Nope,
one
it's
and
over.
done. Or they might have a gun sitting around the house, get pissed off and say, hey, I'm going, but I'm taking my whole family with me.
Yeah.
And they going too.
Yeah.
And then they off themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's common sense gun ownership.
Me too.
I don't think as a gun owner, clearly he is not saying nobody should have guns.
Yeah.
He is saying, responsible people should have guns. He's not saying the reason we need to have guns is so if there's what is that? The government goes nuts and we need to protect ourselves. No, he's not. He's not even saying that.
Yeah.
But he's not saying criminals need to have guns. Nobody agrees with that. Everyone agrees that people that are mentally unstable, ultimately, when we look at a lot of these people that go into movie theaters and kill people, go into schools and kill a bunch of people, there was some indicator at some point that said this person is probably not well, and they probably don't need to have a gun. And if you've just left a situation, say a domestic situation, and you've been beating on your old lady, or beat up your neighbor, maybe you shouldn't have a gun.
Probably not.
It's not like they need the gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Hey,
So-
I like how you nicely tie that up as avid gun supporters or avid gun people, whatever you said. That was a nice way to say the NRA. And we all know who owns the NRA.
Nah.
The devil.
Nah.
The devil runs the NRA.
Hey,
We already know that. man.
the NRA is going to tell you that the NRA came about to try to teach black people how to use guns. I believe it was somewhere near after the Civil War, and then throughout the teach responsible shooting throughout like the 50s and 60s and all
Yeah,
that
that's
shit.
what I remember.
Then it turned into it got to be a political arm.
And now they okay with having keep school shooters to keep automatic weapons. That's their main topic right now is keep automatic weapons intact for whatever reason. Dr. Sizer, man, just to back you up with what you're saying, it's about responsible gun owner. I'm a gun owner. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, it's not like I want guns banned or anything of that nature, but or he wants guns banned or anything of that nature, but he wants it to be responsible people. It's funny that they say, like, they're big on him, like, they're trying to criticize him about, his gun law rights, his gun laws or whatever, what he came up with. But they didn't have a problem going after Hunter Biden, and Hunter Biden, all he did was lie and say that he was not on drugs when he bought a gun, and they convicted him. They literally went back and took him to court on that.
That is the same situation. That is
Yeah.
exactly the same situation that
Exactly.
they're opposing. And I'm gonna say this to that. If he guilty, he guilty. He did it.
He's
guilty.
We didn't all go crazy and say,
No.
"Oh my God, the deep state is after him."
Yeah.
And, "Oh, they done got him. Oh, we're gonna get you." No,
Yeah.
he did it. He did it.
Yep.
He did it. But they want to criticize those same laws that Tim Walz is putting in Minnesota. Like, hey, you know what? If you're probably on drugs, probably have a mental situation, like you said, if you're probably a criminal, you probably don't need a weapon. You know what I'm saying? If you're probably too young. Because a lot of these times, a lot of these school shooters are getting them young guys that probably aren't mentally stable or got whatever problem they got. And
Frontal
they-
lobe is not developed yet. Doesn't develop. It doesn't. Your cortex doesn't develop until they say like 25.
Yeah, and
Mature.
they're able to go down to a gun show and buy an AR-15, and turn it and make it fully automatic and walk into somebody's schools. It's funny how nobody wants that, but nobody wants to do anything to stop that. And you know what I'm saying? So we know, avid gun owners means the NRA or some right-wing person that thinks they should have guns because the government's trying to take all their guns away.
Yeah.
And they want to talk about the Second Amendment, which was made, in the colonial times when
Yeah,
Britain was
had a musket. You got one shot every 45 seconds if you were good.
if you were good, and that's because Britain was walking around with all the guns, so we wanted to have guns too. That's why they passed that law.
Yeah.
We may not need that law now. We definitely need something that doesn't say everybody has the right to own guns. Everybody don't have the right to own guns. And some people in your family, you don't want to have a gun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So come on. Let's just make, like you say, common sense decisions that need to be made. And it sounds like Tim Walz made another one, and they want to try to hold them.
Background checks. They've said federally the overwhelming number of voters have said they want to have background checks, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like, well, I have to, in order to operate a car, I got to drive a license.
Yeah, that's right.
If I had to get a license to have a license, to basically it's giving you all my information so you can look and make sure that I'm sane. And
Yeah.
to have a gun, I don't understand what the problem. Why not? I don't want crackhead Louis down the road to be able to have access to a gun, and I'm up there looking at him all the time like, boy, that fool he out there selling his mama's microwave and shit.
Yeah.
And now he got a gun. Mama ain't got no microwave. Now he looking at me like, yo, what I got?
Yeah.
Now he got a gun.
Yeah.
Before he had a gun, we ain't had no. It was what it was. I could have ran.
Yeah.
Put these things on them, something.
I just want to kind of touch on this one point before we move on to the next subject, is that, man, at the end of the day, this whole law, which, like you said, common sense laws, right? People on the right or Republicans are trying to say, well, they're trying to take all your freedoms. They're trying to take your guns and blah, 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 blah. It's not that simple. First and foremost, this law states that you have the right to petition a court to take the gun from someone. So this could be a loved one. This could be somebody, like you said, that you think they might hurt themselves, or they might hurt other people. Do you want your relative going to jail for going to a school and shooting it up? But everybody always says, well, I thought something was wrong with him, and I didn't know.
After the fact.
I had no. Well, this gives you an opportunity to go to the court and say, look, I think something's wrong with little Johnny. I think he might do something. I got guns in my house. Or he got guns. So I want the court to take a look at this. So that still doesn't mean that his gun's going to get taken away. That means at this point, the court is going to bring him in. They're going to do some type of assessment and make a decision on whether or not this person should have a gun or not. Once again, smart. It's not just coming in and saying somebody complained, so they're taking his gun, right? And what you always hear Republicans say is, well, this is just the beginning. Next thing you know, they're going to do A, B, and C. Shut the fuck up, okay? There is thought put into laws like this. This is not something that somebody just came out left field and said, we just going to take your guns away from you. This is a very full and thorough assessment of a system and how it should be utilized to create a safe environment for people. It's not just about like you and your gun. It's about everyone and their safety.
Community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's trying to do. And that's, to me, when I look at all of these things that they're going to criticize him on, I would always look back and say, look, just like he said, I think he said something like, wow, okay, I'm horrible because I'm trying to protect women's rights. So shoot me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think when I think of all these criticisms. But
They can't shoot him if they don't have access. Potentially have access.
that's why he's
to
trying
a
to protect
gun.
his damn self. But another thing we're
Put in
trying
a
to
petition.
protect is public education. So I want to talk about the 5 horrible public education proposals in Project 2025. So the Project 2025 initiative has sparked significant debate. One of the areas that will impact a large proportion of the populace is public education. So we're going to continue our discussion on Project 2025 from last week. And this week, we're just going to go over the 5 public education proposals in the initiative that have us scared shitless. All right. So the first proposal is eliminating the Department of Education. One of the most alarming proposals in Project 2025 is the complete elimination of the U.S. Department of Education. This move would dismantle federal oversight and support for public schools. So, Dr. Sizer, how would removal of the Department of Education impact all Americans?
The Department of Education has the smallest staff of cabinet agencies, and it establishes policy for the administrators, and coordinates most federal assistance in education, as well as fosters educational excellence and ensures equal access to educational opportunities for all. So having said that, its greatest impact would probably be against those who are underprivileged or underserved.
Yep.
My belief is that Donald Trump has told you, I love the uneducated. Okay? 9 of the 10 least educated states are red states.
Surprise, surprise.
The 10 most educated states are blue states. Now, so it's easier to get people to follow you if they're easily manipulated, because if you've not trained your brain and have the ability to critically think and research and make good decisions, you hear people say things like the election was stolen with no evidence, no facts. Venezuela broke into the voting machines and changed it. You easily believe that. You believe that ivermectin, horse dewormer, is going to cure COVID. It's easy for you to believe things like that if you have an uneducated population.
That's right.
And just according to the statistics or the data that I've provided, who's to say that's probably something to that? So
Not probably.
And,
Not in my mind.
and if you have that situation and you get rid of that situation, number one, you eliminate the opportunity for a lot of people to have access to higher education, because you don't have access to the grants. You don't have access to the loans that can help pull you and future generations out of poverty.
Yeah.
It keeps you in poverty. Maybe it keeps you in poverty with that baby that you had to have because you couldn't get an abortion because the powers that be said that you couldn't do it. You had to have this baby.
Yeah.
Now you're poor and uneducated, right where they want to keep you
With a baby.
and don't want to give you no support or anything whatsoever. This situation also would permit the flourishing of things like Trump University, just made up schools with no real criteria that you can give money to for-profit institutions that can take money from those who don't have it.
Yeah.
So it has a purpose. It serves a purpose. You can imagine we're looking at school right now, and we're saying, you have a lot of private schools that want to, or even states trying to eliminate history, basically banning books, books that we grew up on. Like, I'm like, why would you ban what was it, The Grapes of Wrath or something? Like what?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Raisin
Like,
in the Sun.
what do you mean? I mean, we read it. I didn't read anything in there that was bannable. There were some things in there that needed to be said, and in a context, we look at that. You know, even though it was written in or represented a older time, those same stories could exist these days and transition into these days. I mean, you could make movies about all those books, those classics, and just modernize them, and they would still be relevant.
Yes, sir.
That's unfortunate, but if you took the Department of Education out of the situation, you potentially put a situation in place in which people can manipulate the education and the minds of those coming up, as well as diminish the opportunities for those who potentially could flourish in a situation. Now, I will say this. I'm not an advocate for just people just getting school loans. And Department of Education is key in this. Getting school loans and just going to, we all know people that got school loans and they were at spring break every year and then didn't graduate. Now you're stuck. Now you saddle with a bunch of school loans and no degree.
Yeah.
And
that hurt, man. That really hurt.
Paying
That
it back.
personalized it for this mofo right here. You done personalized it.
Freaknik 96 right there. Freaknik 96.
Hey, I'm from Texas. Moved to the Kappa Beach party, bro. Kappa Beach party.
So, but it would prevent, it would prevent, you could prevent situations like that. My belief is that were you to get rid of the Department of Education, there would be a system that came up in place that was absolutely about getting money, that's going to loan you money to go to school, and it's going to be like payday lenders. It's going to blow up like that. The interest rates are going to be ridiculous.
We're going to talk a little bit about that and one of these other points that we got for public education. So you have a lot of opportunity to kind of jump on that one too. Yeah. What'd you have to say about the DOE?
What you have to tell us about the Kappa Beach party? 97.
Hey, just don't do like Freaknik and make a documentary of it. Just let that lay where it lay, man. You know what I'm saying? But agreeing with you with everything when it comes to the Department of Education. I mean, I'm just curious on why you want to get rid of it. I mean, we know why. I mean, but it's just like it's almost it's showing the intention of Project 2025. We said this before. We've been covering this for all our last shows. I mean, we really get in depth and dug into this thing. And Project 2025, man, is just trying to destroy us as a people, man. And that's the reason they want to get rid of the Department of Education, for all the reasons that you just said. I'm dumbfounded behind it. And I don't want to jump the gun because we're gonna, but I think one of the main purposes is just to privatize schools and make money off of them. You know what I'm saying? And roll things toward charter schools. So I know you're gonna move along with it, Sean. I don't want to jump ahead too much, but
you're on point, brother, because that's our next horrible proposal.
Yeah.
But before I jump into that one, I do just want to make two quick points myself on the Department of Education, man. Like, it's funny how the Republican Party has always talked about, get rid of big government, right? But it seems like they're embracing big government a lot more now with their stances on, like, hey, they want to get rid of abortion on a national level and things like that. And I think that this is one of those things. They're looking at Department of Education and they just want to, instead of like, they want to get rid of it. They don't want that big government. But at the same time, it's going to hurt us because without the Department of Education, what happens is you don't have uniform standards across the country for your public school systems, right? We already have enough differences because each state has different rules for their schools as well. But there are some standards at the federal level that have to be there. And that would just get rid of them. And then your quality of schools, which is already different at different states, it would decrease even more. Yeah. Because then they have no one on top. That's what federal regulation does. Yeah, it's checks and balances in place to help you make sure that you at least have this amount of quality in your public education. But with that gone, I mean, it's going to get even worse. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick because I think that's a big thing with the Department of Education. But moving on to what Ace was saying, funding charter schools is the horrible proposal number 2.
Yeah.
So Project 2025 advocates for using taxpayer money to fund private school vouchers. Now, this proposal could drain resources from public schools, which are already struggling with limited funding. Ace, how would diverting public funds to private institutions hurt public school attendees and students?
I mean, it's going to kill attendance in public schools. I mean, that's basically what they're kind of going for, and it's going to divert it to, like, they're going to give you vouchers to go to private schools. I mean, but you know, when I kind of think about it, I think of like I said earlier in our meeting, I heard Michael Blackson talk about how school was in Africa, where you could either afford school or you couldn't afford school. So when they put it in charter schools, you know, yeah, you might get a voucher, but doesn't guarantee that you're going to go to school. You know, if you can't afford to go or whatever, or if they don't want you, they might build a criteria that makes you not able to go to school. So you got kids that aren't in school or doing anything, and public schools don't have any money to teach them anything, and so you end up not going to school, so attendance goes down. It's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah. And when attendance goes down in most states, funding goes
away.
down.
Yeah.
So that's going to really hurt the schools as well.
And they're diverting it to charter schools, which is privately owned. So somebody's making money off your children going to school. You know what I'm saying? So not only are they making money, now they can decide if your child can go there or not. And they can come up with certain rules because it's privately owned to where we may not allow you to come to school. You know what I'm saying? Once again, who's that going to affect? That's going to affect more than likely black and brown people and poor people. You know what I'm saying? That's basically it.
Yep.
And what if you got to catch a bus?
Oh man.
Yeah.
They like figure it out on your own. Like we don't have money for that. You know.
Oh, we don't want to provide it for you.
Exactly.
You know. That's
However, I can pretty much assure you that if you're a minority athlete, you'll be welcome to those schools.
Oh yeah.
Whole open with
free
open
ride,
arms.
free ride. You get a free ride then, you know. But you know, if you're a guy that's just, you know, probably, you know, yeah, you're pretty smart. You know what I'm saying? That you know, if you get in there and you get the right push, you may be able to get like an academic degree. More than likely, you're going to be weaned out because you don't have anything. You don't have a commodity for them, unless you're just exceptionally smart. But I'm saying if you just, you know, somebody who's needs a push to go to college or whatever the case may be, and you're pretty smart, you can make it, but you're not athletically inclined. What does that leave you? You know what I'm saying?
I simply believe that if that was put in place, you're simply going to create basically islands of institutions that are not representative of the communities that they're in. You're going to end up with when they first had desegregation, you had a lot of white children leave the public school systems and go to private institutions, and that eliminated students, number one, from meeting and mingling and understanding other people's cultures. You end up in a homogenous, you know. I don't think it's a good situation to have schools where you just have all black students. I don't think it's good to have schools that are all Hispanic students. I don't think you should have all white students. Ideally, I think you should have schools that, you know, are representative of society and not necessarily just the area you live in. Yeah. And if that required busing, number one, that gives everybody a broad experience of life and life skills. You know, that you can use, you know, no matter if you do not pursue higher education, you at least have the ability to know that you can associate with people from different backgrounds and different ethnicities and have an understanding and be able to have a conversation and maybe build friendships, you know, with people that are not like you or not like the people in the 5 blocks around you.
Yeah.
You know, if you sit up there and you put these, like you said, it would be simply for profit. If you put this system in place, and there are no standards to what you're gonna teach, number one, a lot of the money is gonna pretty much be based on attendance. That's what I would guess. If they just want you to come to school. They don't care what you do while you're there.
Yeah. Pass, fail.
They're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
You know. So and then what happens after that school? After you graduate, and you don't know shit. they got that other system, the other system on the other side of school for you, the privatized prison.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Exactly.
know, just be
I
it would
was gonna touch on
effectively
that.
a pipeline
Yes,
that
sir.
pull you out of one. You're gonna get some education up in there too. You know,
Yeah.
you might finish your high school education in the private prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and graduate. Have a grad. You ain't never getting out.
And we'll get free labor out of you too
Yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time, or reduced labor. We give you a couple of dollars here and there, but you know what I'm saying. We'll make that work to our benefit. It took me to while you're talking, I was thinking about like things my mom told me when they were coming up at school. You know, and their generation were under Brown versus the Board of Education, separate but equal, which she was like, yeah, we used to get books, but they were 3 years later than the other books. So kind of that caste system that was setting up to where the privileged are going to get everything. They're going to have all the latest technology and all this and that, and we're going to be maybe decades behind on what they're doing when it comes to these public schools. Now, the people that go are like you said, the people that are showing up and they're not achieving anything while they're there anyway, because they're just a body there to get more money and line somebody else's pockets. I mean, that's the depiction of getting rid of the Board of Education so we can find a way to make money out of schools. You know what I'm saying? So that's nuts. And widen the gap in knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like what people know and what don't know, what they
Yeah.
don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, what I want people to do is shorten the gap between your finger and that like button. Tap on it, click on it, whatever you need to do, and then also make sure that you subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz so that you can see more content like this every single week. All right, so let's talk about horrible proposal number 3. So that's Title I. So Project 2025 seeks to phase out Title I. Title I is the largest federal program for kindergarten through 12th grade schools designed to help children from low-income families. This could lead to public school closures in disproportionately marginalized communities. Now, Ace, what would be the impact of closing schools in these communities?
man, that's a lot of there's a lot of things. It's some kids don't eat till they go to school, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's increasing poverty. I mean, real poverty, hungry kids. So I mean, school plays a big role. I mean, a lot of people's social lives start with school. You know what I'm saying? So, if these schools close down, man, you can create just a serious void in low income areas, to where I mean it's just something that I think as Americans we kind of see on TV and like, wow, that's Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? Or that's Beirut or wherever the case may be. And we all look at it and say, why the hell aren't those kids at school? You know what I'm saying? The first thing you kind of say. So now we're creating I want to say third world country, but we're creating a crisis here at home because now we got people miseducated. You ain't got no schools, and you got a lot of hungry kids. And last time I heard, hungry people, like, that's a motivation to make you do all types of crime and all kinds of crazy stuff. So now probably increase the crime rate some way, shape, and form. And we're definitely locking up a lot of people that sometimes may not need to be locked up if we were to put them in a better position.
Yeah.
So.
Got anything on that one, Dr. Sizer, or you just concur?
I would simply say that it pretty much goes back to the situation we talked about abortion. Again, you're gonna have kids. You're gonna force these people to have kids. You're gonna put them in situations where now they can't go to school. You don't want they not going to school, so they're not being fed. They're not getting. You don't want them to have what is that? Preschool.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting preschool. They're not getting fed at school. It's just these are all things that are just take away from the people who are less prosperous in our community. In our communities, and we should be communities. And when I say communities, I don't mean, we're not communists, but, people who champion Christianity should know that, you should reach out and assist people when you can.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put systems in place in which are simply not assisting people, and rather than they're putting up roadblocks and hurdles before them, something's wrong.
Yeah.
That's not helping. Right? I mean, how would you be helping if you're putting systems in place that inhibit or prohibit people from getting a decent education, we should probably look at ways to fix the public education system, and it's probably not charter schools.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a space for charter schools. I think if you have students that are exceptional, and you're going to put them in an environment in which they can excel and grow, because you're doing them a disservice if you put them in an environment with people that are, some student, they may be 2 grades ahead just because of maturity. Mm-hmm. You're not helping them by putting them back with these other with people who are not as adapt to education as they are. Mm-hmm. So there's a place for charter schools. I just don't think that it's the answer for everything. Yeah. In my community we had public schools and we had some Catholic schools. Mm-hmm. St. Monica's, we called it St. Monkeys. Mm-hmm.
I went to Catholic school.
And look at you.
That's right. Good as a motherfucker.
I don't want to tell you about my Catholic school experience.
But we had that was our diversity. That was we had magnet schools. So if there was a direction you could go in public school towards a magnet school, maybe trade school or something they did over here, you had an option to go there. You had to apply and go there. But they didn't just broadly just come out and say, we're just gonna have charter school and that's it. This is our answer. No, I don't think that's. I don't think that. I think that is. It is an answer. I don't think it's the correct answer.
Yeah. And I think when I think about the impact of getting rid of Title I and how that might close schools, I think about what you just said about those communities, because in New York and the Bronx, I was in a community like that. We had a public elementary school, we had a high school, and then we had the Catholic school, all within a few blocks of one another. Mm-hmm. We had the capability to go to a Catholic school. Mm-hmm. We had enough money to whereas I could afford the uniforms, the tuition, and all of that shit. But what about the kids in all those other schools in the community around me who went to public school? If Title I was removed and those schools had to close, where these kids gonna go? Where they going to school at? They all don't have that kind of money. Everybody in my neighborhood didn't have the same money. There was a lot of single parent households. There were moms. I used to go to my homeboy's house all the time because guess what? His mom wasn't never there. She was always at fucking work. Always. It don't matter. I stayed the night over there. I did all kind of shit chilling with this nigga because his mom was never home. But I tell you what, she took care of him. Mm-hmm. They had food in the house. They had all the shit they needed. But she couldn't afford to send him to the same school I went to. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if they get rid of Title I, it's going to impact people from, like you said, nutrition. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids don't eat in the home, at breakfast and all that shit. They get to school, they're like, dude, thank God, because all my mom can afford is one meal a day, dinner. Mm-hmm. Nigga, I go there for breakfast and lunch, and that's a wrap. Then you got people who they're not going to, like you said, they're not going to have the educational background. They're not going to have the social interactions. And people, unfortunately, they're left to the streets and those street activities, those street connections that they make with those people in the streets, and they end up going through and being institutionalized their whole life, right? And we don't want any of that stuff. But all of that kind of leads back to another point that we made about marginally, disappropriately marginalized communities, which we know usually means Black, Hispanic people, and that leads to the horrible proposal number 4, which is reduction of civil rights and DEI. So, Project 2025 calls for prosecuting, okay? Remember this, prosecuting. The damn initiative calls for prosecuting all state and local governments, institutions of higher education, corporations, and any other private employers that maintain affirmative action or DEI policies. Dr. Sizer? What would the elimination of affirmative action and DEI policies mean for education in America?
Well, I did a little digging.
Okay. I know you did.
And research has proven over and over again that the greatest benefactors of affirmative action and civil rights programs are and have been white women. White women predominantly vote Republican. That's another fact. White men, while they only make up 43% of the Fortune 2000 workforce, they hold 95% of the senior management jobs. So that's not reflecting
That's 95%.
the general population. It's not even close.
No way.
Okay, it's it's nowhere near being reasonable.
Nah.
White men are 33% of the U.S. population, but 65% of physicians, 71% of lawyers, 80% of tenured professors, and 94% of school superintendents. And that is with DEI and affirmative action and civil rights.
Yeah. What would it
place.
be without it?
What would it be without it?
Yeah.
What
That
was
is
it
the
without it?
question.
Well, we can look that up because what was it without it? You know
Oh,
what I'm
we
saying?
pretty well. I can pretty much assure you that it was not better than those.
No, I know that. I know that for a
It
fact.
definitely was not better.
I know if you go back to like 1955 and probably pull that census report, that's probably
probably looking
100% all the way across.
You're probably looking at 80 or higher.
So
across
that
the
I
board.
mean, this is with checks and balances in place. Those are that's those numbers today. So if you took that off, number one, you have to wonder like, well, what the hell do y'all want?
100.
What more do you want?
more do you
I
want?
mean, here's some numbers that clearly reflect that you're doing great.
You got it
So
all
you
already.
want to take it off the table and get more?
And prosecute people for it. They throw people in jail for it. Like, really? Is that serious, man? Is that serious?
They believe somewhere someone believes it's that serious. But you know, when you have a situation where again, in terms of voting, you know, it's going back to Kamala and Walz. We're looking and we're saying again, I have to salute black women because y'all holding it down and you don't get enough credit.
No. Not at
The
all.
whole situation where we looked at the people who were willing to step up and prosecute the crimes of
Trump?
Trump,
Yeah.
it was black women.
Yeah.
When it came to voting to get Biden in office, it was black women. And black women are lining up behind Kamala and Walz to get her elected. And to the benefit of white women.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that again, affirmative action and DEI and civil rights, the greatest benefactors are white women.
Yeah.
They vote against it.
Yeah.
They vote against it.
Yeah.
You've already been repeatedly been told that gentlemen, your spouses would prefer to have you in the house baking pies for your 6 kids and vacuuming and getting a new vacuum for Christmas and be happy.
Exactly.
That's what they saying they want. And that's what y'all voting for. Meanwhile, black women are saying, "Oh no. We want to be treated equally. We want to be treated equally in the home. Biblically we going to be king and queen in the home, probably equally yoked, share our decision making. But when we in the workspace, we want to be treated equally." And they're willing to fight for that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm correct, we had a civil rights movement. Then we had a women's lib movement, right? Which the women's lib movement was really the emancipation of white women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being able to get their
Yeah.
rights. You know what I'm saying? Well, all women.
Yeah.
You know, but those black women also had to first fight for civil rights.
First, that was the first.
Then
That
they
was,
had to go-
that was the one that knocked down, that
Opened up
precipitated everything. Everything else since then has been predicated
Yeah, on
on
the
civil
civil rights
rights.
movement.
When you hear something about gay rights,
Yeah.
they always say, go back to civil
Civil
rights.
rights, yeah.
They use the civil rights blueprint and,
Yeah.
and try to equate it. I'm kind of like, no, it's kind of like not the same because, you know, a lot of civil rights are predicated or racial inequities. And, you know, if you're walking down one side of the street and you're white and you're gay and these white nationalists over here who don't particularly care for you are on the other side of the street, they're probably going to let you walk by because they don't know. They can't see it. But if you're black, they know immediately that they don't like you and they going to want to do something to you.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have, hey, you better run the other way. We're over here. So it's not the same, but, you know, absolutely, they deserve equal rights, civil rights, deserve the right to live and love whoever they want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Women, the women's lib movement, also predicated on
Yeah.
civil rights.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, it kind of just it piggybacked on it and rolled right in, you know, in the 70s when they pushed for it. So, I mean, like you said, and now, you know, you fast forward to where we're at right now, you have women that are you know, that are standing on the shoulders of both of those movements that are fighting against it, you know.
Crazy, huh?
Crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it comes back to, and I was going to add just a little earlier, you know, we're talking about Project 2025. I mean, we're not making this shit up. Somebody's
written.
Somebody's
Yeah.
It's
took
900
time.
pages.
Somebody took time to write all of. They wrote all of this down for us to read it and for us to research it, so they can put it into play once Trump's in office.
Got a 180-day plan.
Exact 180-day plan that they got going with
And
it.
no shame. They put it out there on the internet for me to find it, for y'all to find it.
This
for you
is
to
serious
find it.
business. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people don't understand. You know, we just not three kooks up here talking about something that ain't never gonna happen. This is gonna come into play if the wrong person gets elected, plain and simple. And we've been kind of cute saying, you know, people are low income, but end of the day, end of the story, all of this is aiming toward the working class. This affects the working class. This ain't just affecting poor people. These people wake up every day and go to work. You talking about not putting your kids through school? That affects you. You know what I'm saying?
If your kid go to public school,
You talking about public school? That affects you. You don't want to feed your kid every day. You know that. You ain't trying to do. You ain't got that kind of money to feed your kid. You know, some of y'all waiting for school to get back started. So you can't
Yeah,
gotta feed these
for
dudes no
real.
more. You like, man,
Get 'em
I
out
sure
my
can't wait
house.
to school start. You know, I ain't gotta buy all these damn hot pockets or whatever the hell you gotta feed your kids during the summer. A lot of people financially depend on that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I want to make the connection that you understand that we are talking to you. So we ain't talking about some people somewhere down the road that are less fortunate than you or the person that, you know. No, this is going to affect you and the way your lifestyle happens if these come into play, you know, plain and simple. You know, if you a white woman and you at work right now and you up for a promotion, 5 years from now, that may be completely different. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know if you ever looked at is that Mad Men? Yeah, Mad Men. You know what I'm saying? Did you see the world of Mad Men back there? You know what I'm saying? When women can only be secretaries in the office. That was white women. And white women can only be secretaries on top of that. You talking about where, you know, you can get, you know, this can go back to those limited roles. That's what make America great again always. Man.
That's when it was great. Some
Yeah.
people say that's when it was great.
And most black people, because it's a couple of them I had that don't see it, but most black people, when they make America great again, we already knew what that mantra meant right off the back. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all want to take it with you, the one you want to take it with. You know, some of you white women need to jump on it too and understand that's where they want to go with it. You know what I'm saying? If you know, if they can have their way, you're not gonna be a CEO or whatever the case. I don't care how sharp you are. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, you touched on finances and people's finances and being able to, you know, afford school and things like that. So that's tied in heavily to the fifth horrible proposal of Project 2025 when it comes to education, and that's eliminating Parent Plus loans. So Project 2025 calls for the elimination of Parent Plus of the Parent Plus loan program. So these loans have more protections than private loans, and they're easier to get approved, making them critical for middle income families to be able to pay for college. So Ace, how would this impact the ability of most Americans to attend college?
No, that's a big impact. I mean, I'm an advocate of a person that used one of these loans and didn't get a degree, but I mean,
Speaking from experience,
yeah, man, you hit me
it's like I
hard
struck a
early when you
nerve.
started hurting, man.
Struck a nerve.
That hit me hard. I had to self-reflect when you was talking over there, bro. I was like, damn it.
I wonder why you got quiet over
I got
there.
real quiet, man. That just hurt, man. Like nothing. Show
Damn,
nothing
I apologize.
Man, I ain't show nothing for my degree other than good ass memories and good ass stories. Other than that, man, nothing. I ain't even pledged and get in a fraternity.
Oh,
Nigga. I ain't get
man.
shit out of college.
Oh.
All right, nonetheless, man, I get off of that. But yeah, it's gonna take away the capability of probably putting your kids through school and being able to afford it, or even having the capability to do it. Those loans come into play a lot of times because you just don't have the income. This is the bridge to get you there. But also, it's also, like you said, it's not as punishing as other loans. You know what I'm saying? So it not only is it the loan to get you there, but it gives you a better capability of paying it back and being affordable for you. So it can affect that directly. And once again, just tied into what Dr. Sizer was saying, like now your kids can't get a higher education. You know what I'm saying? So you're not even competing in the job force no more.
Downstream
you know
impacts,
what I'm saying?
man.
So that 95% that white men own out grow to 98%. Because you can't even get into schools, your kids can't even get into schools to even compete for the jobs. And so, yeah, Project 2025, like I said, it's a horror story, but it's real. Somebody took time and wrote all of this down and trying to put it into play.
The irony is a lot of Project 2025 is Trump's platform 47.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just wordsmithed it. And so while Trump is trying to act as if he has no understanding or knowledge of the situation, they just recently said, here Trump is a picture of him flying with the guy, the architect of Project 2025, the one he says he doesn't know anything about. 20 some odd members of his former cabinet or had positions in his campaigns are part of authoring this. So when he's saying he doesn't know anything, hey man, the dude, he's not the most truthful person. I'm like,
Got a track record.
hey,
man.
he's been proven to be a liar. So he can say he doesn't know. In fact, I believe Stephen Miller was on TV last weekend saying that no, none of this has anything to do with anything. We're not gonna do it. Oh, why would you write it?
Why would you write it?
And why is there a 180-day plan? And why are you gonna you're gonna swap out like 500,000 government workers with
Loyalist.
Yeah.
Like the government, the people who typically work in the government are not politically affiliated.
Nah.
They're just working. They have political affiliations because, of course, they vote.
Right.
They don't project them at work. In
Yeah.
fact,
Right.
they're told not to do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You don't want people fighting at work.
Right.
You see little things like having worked in the government, Barack Obama was elected president, and on President Day, they still ain't got his picture up there.
Yeah.
They gonna do what they gonna do, but you damn sure don't want to be in an environment where they're gonna get political loyalists. Would you have wanted someone who was a political loyalist to be in Dr. Fauci's position versus the person who was the subject matter expert on pandemics at the time? No, probably not a sensible person.
Yeah,
You absolutely
don't
would
want a
not
yes
want
man
that.
in that situation.
Exactly. You want somebody that's going to make a good decision based on science and fact.
Yeah.
And those are the same things you want people in positions throughout the government to make decisions based on science and fact, not politics. Not because, we got to do this because Trump wants to do this. We want to do this because Obama said we want to do this. You don't want that. The government is to govern the people, not we're gonna do for these people over here. Y'all just got to come along with us. That's just
Yeah,
it.
that's called a monarchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm
and
saying?
we got away from England because of that. Because
Exactly.
of the monarchy. And, you know, you said that you tried to say, hey, we wrote all this down, but we're not gonna do that. We just
Yeah. What was
Hey,
the point?
Yo, Matt, when last time you wrote something down and didn't-
900 pages of it. Published it.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and the thing is like, ain't that the point of writing something down so you can do it again? And that's the whole point of writing it.
Hey,
So you can have it recorded and documented.
So
that
you
can
remember,
go back to it
remember,
use
and you
it.
can say,
Hey.
I want to do this. That's why I wrote it down.
Hitler wrote something down too.
Yeah,
It's
Mein
called Mein
Kampf.
Kampf.
Yeah.
That apparently Donald Trump had a copy of it on his nightstand.
Oh,
Said
yeah.
He read it all the time until it was confronted and said, I never heard of it. What is it?
Why he always say that? I never heard no shit. Like,
Yeah.
This nigga ain't never heard of nothing.
And
But-
it just so happens we're framing our government right behind Nazi Germany, 1933.
Exactly.
It's falling into place. Exactly.
Man, but as far as these like Parent Plus loans, man, I just want to touch on one last thing before we get into the last topic. Is I mean, to your point, Ace, like Parent Plus loans are really they're easier to get approved.
Mhm.
They have less penalties on the parents, like, and they give you chances to pay them back, and they like normally have lower interest rates. Republicans, once again, they trying to push this stuff to big business and corporations. They're like, well, banks, you can get your loans from a bank. We know what kind of problems banks got, like not only with just the cost,
I
the interest
hate
rates,
banks.
how hard it is to get loans for some, individuals. They just make it hard. But also, there's still some bias involved with like just the approval of loans or the non-approval of loans. The whole process, man, is negative. And some of us like go into those situations and they just treat you like shit. Like some people.
Yeah, nah.
I'm just sorry to say. Some people at banks they treat black people and Hispanic people like they're lesser people, and they don't treat them with the respect that they deserve just as a human being. So it's real easy to do your Parent Plus loan. You go online, you do that shit, blah, 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 blah. You get it. You don't got to fuck with nobody. You ain't got to worry about no banks. You ain't got to do nothing. I mean, it's just a easier process, man. And it gives
Banks.
people an opportunity to, like you said earlier, elevate themselves out of a situation that they might be in right now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got the, people in working class who have the first time graduate from college or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They trying to eliminate that completely.
Yeah, completely, man. But we also had some firsts in the Olympics, and we're going to talk about those next. So let's talk about the top 5 moments of the 2024 Paris Olympics. So the Olympics is a event that, we've been watching real closely over the past few weeks. It's been dope. A lot of stuff has been happening, and there have been some key moments that we want to focus in on. So the first moment is the U.S. women's gymnastics. So from the phenomenal comeback of Simone Biles, who became the most decorated gymnast in history, to the dominating performance of Team USA, I'm talking about USAA. What the hell's wrong with me? There was a lot to celebrate during the games. Dr. Sizer, what about the women's performance impressed you the most?
Gymnastics. I'll
Yeah.
tell you this. Despite my youthful looks, I can frame a lot of timelines, and not specifically those exact Olympics, but I can recall, even just hearing the names, Olga Korbut, Nadia Comaneci, Mary Lou Retton,
Yeah.
and what was the old girl? The
Dominique
squirrel.
Bellows?
Nah, talk about the
The flying squirrel.
yeah, I can't remember her name, but I know you're talking about.
Sister girl. Okay. And then we're going to get to a point where you're going to be confused, because it's going to be, well, Simone Biles, she was in that one. Simone Biles was in this one. Simone Biles was in this one. You typically don't have gymnasts that go more than
Span
one
that timeline.
One Olympics. Yeah.
because, they grow. Maybe they're less flexible. I don't know what happened. It takes a toll on the body. But for her to have performed at the level she has for 3 Olympics
Yeah.
to me, she's definitely the GOAT
Yep.
gymnast.
Yep.
She even has a move named after her. She has a
got
move that they
multiple
said
moves.
they banned the move. She couldn't do that. because it's so difficult. You know how badass you got to be
You gotta be
to do
bad.
something that nobody else could do, so that nobody else could do this, so you can't do it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That ain't
Really?
fair. That ain't
That's
fair.
not fair.
that-
They need to step it up, bring their game up.
Yeah, that's crucial.
I'm like, yo. So to me, that is probably the most impressive, absolutely women's gymnast. I'm proud of the whole team because
Oh,
you
yeah,
know
no
when
doubt.
you looked at the team, number one, it was pretty diverse.
Yeah, it was multiracial.
Typically, you looked up there, it was Simone Biles,
Yeah.
or
Jordan Childs,
the Flying Squirrel.
Suni Lee.
Now you look and it was like, look at them. They diverse from all over. And the other thing that I would say is, I was proud of the way Simone Biles clapped back on that comment about her hair. Like, really, this what y'all
Yeah.
talking about? I'm over here doing phenomenal shit, and this what you talking about?
Yeah.
And then the other girl that had formerly been on the team, Michaela something, come out talking about,
Yeah.
oh, these girls aren't motivated. Then the next thing, she up there crying about, oh, Simone is fantastic. Can you please tell your followers to stop giving me death threats? And I was just like, here. Okay, here we go again. Throwing rocks and hiding your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Lil Jon told y'all, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Or if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything.
Exactly.
She didn't have, especially having been in that community
Yeah.
and probably had personal associations, relationships with at least Simone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To just not say anything. Congratulations.
Yep.
You know, hey,
Yeah.
job well done. That's all it required. Now you up there crying about these people giving. She not giving you death threats.
Nope.
You up there. You know, Lil Jon told you, don't start no shit. Won't be no shit.
Yeah, man.
Shouldn't have did it.
Yeah, I mean, these kids got to realize. I mean, old school. It'd be the good old days when you did have something to say to somebody. You just confronted them direct. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying?
talk to them face to face.
But now you want to throw it on the post, and then and when that smoke come, then oh man, you have them pull back. But you know, you put it out on display. You went out there, you know, put it out in the streets. I mean, I can't pull the streets back.
That's not
fool.
her. She not
Can't
the
pull
one
the
doing
streets
it.
back. You know what I'm saying? Just
She
like you
ain't
know
the
what I'm saying. You know, back in the '80s, that's like if you loud talk somebody in the lunchroom. You know what I'm saying? You gonna loud talk somebody in the lunchroom, nigga. You gonna bring the heat. When you might get jumped, nigga. That's just what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? His boy might hit you upside your head.
You got to
know what
deal
I'm
with the
saying?
consequences.
Or you holler at him on the side when ain't nobody watching. Hey, I can't. I mean, I don't know what to say to you. You know what I'm saying? It's basically what Simone's gonna say. Like, I don't know what to say. He put it out on display. You know, now you subject to anything happening.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, so I think that the women gymnastics, man, it was like Team USA came in there and did their thing, won their medal, and you know kept it popping. They did their individual medals that they won. All of that shit was dope, man. But something else that was dope was we got a new fastest man in the world. It's Noah Lyles. So that's our moment number 2. Noah Lyles clinched his first Olympic gold medal with a breathtaking photo finish in the 100 meter.
Yeah, he
Followed
did.
that up with a bronze medal in the 200 meter while suffering from COVID. So, Ace, what do Noah Lyles' achievements mean to men's track and field?
oh man, I mean that photo finish was epic, man. I mean that was probably one of the best races I've seen. I mean, shoot in a while, man. And I'm proud of the man and glad he bought. You know, he did his thing in that. But before I get started, man, I gotta address my people directly on this one. Like, stop shitting on this bronze medal, man. You know what I'm saying? Black people always be like, he won the bronze. Like, yeah, nigga won the bronze, nigga. That's serious business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, you know, sick, health, had COVID, whatever. Oh, man, he had COVID, man. Like, we got this expectation. Like, if you don't win the gold, you ain't did nothing. Like, that ain't easy to do. There's some fast people out there.
It's an accomplishment to get to the Olympics.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that means you are an elite athlete. Exception being if you're a female breakdancer.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, hey, man, well, you know, he got the bronze. Oh, man, well, he had COVID. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess that makes it different, but it was still a great achievement for him to win the bronze medal. But yeah, man, like I said, that race was phenomenal. He was trying to, I forgot what they call it, but when you win both races, man, he was trying to bring that to where you do win the gold at both of them and really achieve toward that. I can just definitely know he just stepped up the game when it comes to track and field now, especially back in the United States. Like, I think we were proud of,
he absolutely sells himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
And to the point that you're either going to say, okay, he either going to do it, that's my man, or you hating on him. Either way, you paying attention. You're going to pay attention. You know, as he's talking, he's like Ali.
Yeah, I'm
Either
saying,
you going
he
to
got a
love
little
him or you
Muhammad
going to
Ali
hate
in
him.
it. Yeah, you know what I'm
And,
saying?
you know, I'm like, hey, you competing to be the fastest man. You one of the fastest people on earth.
Yeah.
In this time. So you have every right to say, my ass is fast.
Yep.
I'm gonna beat you, we gonna see.
Yep.
He did that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
That's how that fool won.
I say that race was great, man. And I just, and like I say, you look at all the margin of error in that race, like, you know what I'm saying? Any of them guys could have won that damn race, man.
The person who came in last in that race would have been first in 1988.
Yeah.
Wow.
They would have beat
That's
Carl
crazy.
Lewis.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was the person who came in last. They would have beat Carl Lewis in
Wow.
88.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. And you know, and like I said, so man, you know, big shout out to Noel Lyles and like I said, black people. And it might be all people, but I know black people's bad. You know, you ain't, you know, don't be looking down because he ain't win the gold, man. I don't know if people be talking crazy.
I'm gonna shout out to Japanese people.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they sprint now?
Yeah, they
Oh
running.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Something's going on over there, man.
Dude.
I can't even run from a karate fight.
And like you said, they in the race.
Fight.
They right there.
They running.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot.
Well, one thing I want y'all running to is the like button. All right. So make sure that you click the like button and subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz so you can see more content like this every single week. Now, the third Olympic moment that we got on deck is Sydney McLaughlin Levrone. Okay? Girl is fast as fuck.
Yeah.
Sydney not only defended her Olympic title in the 400-meter hurdles, she set a new world record in the process. Ace, what made Sydney's performance so special?
This is like her was a second or a third time winning. Second time, right? Okay. Yeah.
Never been done before.
Yeah, never been done before. Second time winning, never been done before. What I was impressed with, she also ran in the 4x4, right? So most of the time, and you know, most track guys know this, or track people know this. Like usually the 400 hurdler, most of the time they don't run that 400 flat, or it's just a different race. Even though it's the same distance, it's a different race. So I had the capability to run both of them. That was impressive to me that she was, even elected on that. So man, yeah, man. So first person to do that in the 400 hurdles. That was a big thing that she did. Broke her own record. That was a big thing she did.
The last 5 world records have been her.
Yeah.
Breaking her own record.
Yeah. No, she's a beast, man. And like I said, running the 4x400, man, that's big stuff, man.
Something else that was big was the United States basketball team. So we know they had a close call, man, a few days ago. That motherfucker was about to be home with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They pulled that shit out. They pulled that shit out.
Hey, let's be honest. If they win bronze, I'm gonna be talking some shit. I'm gonna tell you right
Hey, look,
now.
they can't win bronze.
They cannot win bronze.
Nah, they can't win bronze. They in the gold medal
Why?
game.
Yeah, that's a
So
whole
they in the
different
gold
world,
medal
though.
game already. The bronze is over with.
If they win silver,
Yeah,
it's
that's
still
it. They
gonna
gonna either get gold or
talk
silver.
shit.
That's it.
No, I'm still gonna be like, nah.
But let's talk about one of the players on the team specifically, and that's Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant became the top scorer in Olympic history during the 2024 Olympics. He passed Lisa Leslie's long-standing record of 488 points. So, Dr. Sizer, what does this achievement mean to the legacy of Kevin Durant and also Team USA?
Honestly, I don't think it means anything to the legacy of Kevin Durant. This guy's a generational player. It means that he's been to a lot of Olympics and he scores a lot. The man is bad. I mean, you can hate on him all you want. You can say, oh, he went to another team to get a championship or whatever. The reality is, OKC should have kept them guys there. They would have ran shit for at least. They had a good solid 5-year run in
OKC, right?
They should have
Yeah,
kept
they
them.
shoulda kept
Did what they could have did to keep them together. So you know,
I don't even think like back then, like James Harden even got enough burn for them to know how good he was
going to
yet.
be. He was a 6 man.
Yeah.
He was coming off the bench. So absolutely, Durant scores. The fact that he got more points than LeBron to me is probably because he done been to quite a few too, and I know he's carried a great deal of the scoring burden, but that dude is just, you don't guys like Steph Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant. You don't see them dudes all the time, and those will be guys that people from this generation are gonna say, yeah, that guy's nice, but you didn't see, man, the damn tarantula or spider or whatever they call him. Like, yo, the dude.
These dudes are unicorns,
He
bro.
said he was 6'11", so that they wouldn't try to put him in the middle.
Yeah.
He's 7'1", and he cold with it.
These dudes are unicorns, man.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm watching the game and I'm yelling at the screen like a motherfucker because at one point, depression set in. Motherfuckers was down by 15, and I was like, golly, bro. And then these niggas start storming back. And I'm like, and Steph, I ain't never cheered for that nigga in my life. No, I did cheer for him when he was at Davidson. Because that nigga, he was a little kid, and he was dope during the year. And then the tournament came, and he was killing it. I think they got to the Elite Eight that year or something. So I ain't cheered for him since then. And dude had me standing up watching the game. Like, this motherfucker Steph is hitting some...
You just
fire.
finally realized that shit?
No, I just realized
His
that.
ass
I
is
just
cold,
realized
too.
that.
Yeah.
I've always realized that he was cold, but I ain't never cheered for him. I ain't never felt like I want this nigga to make this shot.
Hat on his head.
And I want this nigga to do this shit. Like, the problem was the name on the front of his motherfucking jersey.
I say his problem is the
You know what I'm
hat on
saying?
his head right now.
That was the problem with that nigga. I'm not a bandwagoner.
I only cheer
I'm not a
for
bandwagoner.
I only
I'm a
cheer
bandwagoner
for Larry Bird on
Nah, but you got people
the
who was
old
like
30 for 30s and shit. Now, finally, Larry Bird was retired for 2 years, and I was like, yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
Nah, it ain't like that.
yeah.
Now
It
I'm
ain't
like,
that.
God
I've
damn,
always
he
look.
was
I'll tell you
cold.
like this.
Yeah, he was
As a
cold.
basketball player myself, I always realize game that motherfuckers got game, and Steph Curry got game. Ain't never gonna doubt that. I just ain't gonna cheer for somebody on my team. It's like I know. Let's put it this way: Jordan was fucking great, one of the goats ever.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
Absolutely.
I ain't never cheered for him when
Yeah,
he
I
played
ain't
the
no
Pistons
Bulls
or the
fans or
Knicks.
nothing
None
like
of that
that,
shit.
no.
I always cheered against that nigga. Never. I don't care. I know he dope. But I ain't cheering for this nigga. I'm not cheering for Steph Curry. Now, when that nigga put a USA on the front, that's why I say the problem was the name on his jersey.
Yeah.
When it said USA on the front of this jersey, nigga, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to cheer for this nigga.
What if he went and played for the Knicks?
Then I would root for him because he's on my team.
And you would have his jersey.
You know what I'm saying? And I would have his jersey. No doubt. I mean, I would love that shit. I ain't going to sit there and act like I wouldn't want a nigga on my
All
team
right.
because
Okay.
that nigga is dope.
He's good. I have to. There's
so-
people that are just like that.
Nah, you know
That's
what?
true.
I just root for that nigga. But my same point about Kevin Durant. That nigga is dope. He's a unicorn. I ain't never rooted for him neither.
Yeah.
But when that nigga pulled up from the free throw line with like we had to leave by one and that nigga made that J.
Yeah.
Nigga, I felt so good. I was like, we lucky to have this nigga on this team.
Oh, yeah.
Because he hadn't scored a lot in that game. Like, but he scored when it mattered. Like in the clutch time, you think like that, take it to the rack or something. That nigga made a J from out above the free throw line that was fire, nigga, just pure.
Your ass was looking
Well,
at
you
was looking at the TV
yeah,
like, oh, say.
I sure was, nigga. Hey, look, and when that nigga ran that mile, that white boy, and he passed that motherfucker up on that shit, nigga, I was screaming at the TV like, right, motherfucker.
I ain't never seen none of those races. I ain't watched no race over 800.
Yeah.
Over the 800. Now I'm up there like, come on. Look, he got bronze. Oh no, the dude who got the second place.
Yeah.
I think it was one of them was in the I think it was 1500. Another one might have been 1,000. But I was cheered like, oh my God!
Yeah.
Look at it was like first time in 50 years an American been on the podium.
Yeah.
Like, man, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say what I enjoyed about that game was, I mean, I was just sitting there when they were down. I was like, I'm just waiting for them to do what they do, kind of like a video game, like, like, and they showed up, man. Like I was like,
They sure
man,
did.
I'm waiting for everybody to kind of do what they do, man, and get after it,
Hey,
man.
props to Bogdanovich and the Joker,
Oh yeah,
cause them two motherfuckers, like,
Joker did what he do, man.
they
Like,
was
you know what I'm
dropping shit on these niggas' heads. Like Bogdanovich is going down the middle, throwing the shit up like this,
Yeah.
and getting the 3-point play. A motherfucker made a 4-point play on their team, Micic or something
Yep.
like that. I said, God damn, and I'm like, okay, I know Bogdanovich,
Yeah.
I know Jokic,
Yeah.
but the other motherfuckers on that team,
Oh yeah.
You probably gonna know some of them soon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But Serbia been balling. They been balling, man. So I mean, but it was just like, yeah, man, that was great, man. But to see them step up, man, right at that point, like I was at work, man, and I was like, yeah, I was supposed to be on the phones, and I was like, I had my phones up there, and I just get this work, man, to see the end of the game, man. And, hey, it was crucial, man. I was like, hey, they need me. Shoot, man. And talking about yelling, man, boy. So no, it felt good, but it's just like basketball is ours, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah,
It's supposed
man.
to be.
it
It's
ain't
supposed
no
to,
more.
it ain't no more, but still, like, nah,
supposed to be.
We can't.
Hey, the out of the MVP has been from another country the last
Oh, yeah.
what, 4 years?
yeah, it has. It has.
So-
Man, we still got the collection though, man. I was like, nah,
We got
man.
the Olympics the last 4 years, so we going for number 5 this time for gold. So we'll see.
you know, it's still what we do over here.
We got to
man.
play
Like,
your boy
yeah,
Wemby. Don't look. If any motherfucker from San Antonio watching this shit, you root for Wemby, nigga. You ain't an American. Okay, that's all I got to say. Fuck that nigga during this game.
Bonjour.
the season.
Bonjour.
That nigga said baguette.
Yeah,
Oui.
No, the season don't start, man, until like
French
October,
dressing,
November,
nigga.
man. You can't root for him right now, man. Like I rooted up to this point now, but this is it.
Yeah, you
Je
done Wemby.
m'appelle Laricon.
Je m'appelle Wemby. All right, so moment number 5. Let's talk about that, man. Moment number 5 has some greatness, but also some funny ass motherfucking dance moves.
Hell
So,
no. I
break
know we
dancing. Okay.
Doom da da.
So, top moment number 5 from the Olympics is breakdancing. So, breakdancing made its Olympic debut this weekend as B-girl Ami from Japan took home the first ever gold medal in women's breakdancing. Now, we also saw some women breakdancing from Australia. That was quite interesting. I'll let y'all talk about that shit. Ace, what does the inclusion of breakdancing on the Olympic stage mean for hip-hop culture? And what did that Australian girls dance mean for hip-hop culture?
Oh my God.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, even when I thought about breaking coming in, man, it took me back to, being in front of Sean Beffert's house with the cardboard box and the boom box, man, and us taking our attempt at doing breakdancing and doing windmills and egg rolls and all that stuff in the 80s, man. I mean, it just took me back, and it was just unbelievable, man. They're going to have, this is a sport now. Like, people are actually competing and getting gold medals with it. And, and I know they did the world class, the world championships every year and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But for it to be an Olympic sport, man, I just think it elevates just hip hop culture
Yeah.
to another level. And I think a lot of times when, especially with us who came up, who are actually the hip hop generation, don't understand how much we just changed the world, man. When hip hop came out, to the point now that's an Olympic sport. Like, things were different after that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us, before you got into rap, and if you got into anything else, it was breakdancing. We were breakdancers. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing that kind of came out. Then we rolled into the culture of hip hop as it rolled out of New York. So it's just, I was really impressed with that being said. Now I wish it was a little more culture in it, but that's a whole nother story. Hopefully when they bring it to LA, man, we can get a little more hip hop culture out of it, like, homegrown culture. That lady in Australia, I can't.
No.
I was like, is she just rolling on the floor? Nigga?
No.
Like, and she's the world champ. Like, who did she beat, nigga? Like, what the hell were they
she
doing?
ain't no
nigga?
world champ, nigga.
Is she the
She was a
Australian
champion in
champ or something?
She ain't no
Australia. Like,
Australian champ.
that was
Hey,
the
when
best they
she first
had.
walked out, I thought she was somebody's school teacher for real. I was like,
That's probably what she was.
who's school teachers out here doing this shit?
She was not a champion of any way.
I thought she
Hey.
was doing Twister.
Hey, Hey, I'm telling you, she didn't even rock the
Red, blue, red,
Yeah.
right hand
Hey,
red, nigga.
She didn't even rock the hip hop right. She had like her warm up was tucked in and shit. It just wasn't right, nigga. Like
Now I'm gonna say that I know that the Japanese in particular are, they whip breakdancing
Oh, yeah.
and all that, but I'm still leaning towards cultural appropriation.
Oh,
Primarily because I am like, y'all done wait. It's 50 years of hip hop, and this is what y'all got. Y'all done waited until all the real breakers have gotten AARP cards.
Yeah, the
and,
4 or 5.
and then y'all gonna bring this to the table. And next, I'm kind of like, so, hey, some of y'all get ready, and what is it? 2028,
Yeah.
Cha-Cha Slide. That's my prediction. Cha-Cha Slide is coming to the Olympics. See y'all there. Three hops.
Hey, you know what else surprised me
Turn it
about the
my
breaking thing?
God.
I didn't know, but I didn't. And I'm pretty sure these guys are all affiliated. But like, where was Crazy Legs at? You know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't be no judge.
Exactly.
Anybody from the Rocksteady crew or somewhere like that.
Exactly.
Something.
That
So-
you shouldn't have had that competition without even having them be. How are these? First of all, I'm not sure what the qualifications were for people to be judges.
Yeah.
You know him. You already know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he's embedded in the code. He was there when it started. He didn't invent breaking, but he damn sure did enough of it where he knows if he sees something good that he should be able to judge it.
Yeah.
But there were some people up there that I saw were judges, and I was like, this is pretty much. They were probably the judges that got that Australian lady there. So
Let me touch on this, man. And I'm gonna just kind of.
you gonna be in it. You gonna be in it next time. You gonna be in it in the senior Olympics.
If that girl from the Australia
Is the
could be in
senior
that,
Olympics?
I can too.
Are the senior Olympics gonna
So-
have breaking?
They probably will, but let me break
You
this
gonna be
down
in
for
it?
you, man. I'll be in it. Shit, I'll be the first nigga up there. So here's the thing, man.
Be breaking for real. Nigga.
You from New York? I'm
Yes,
from
sir.
New York. I mean, I came up in the culture. I was in New York from 1971 through 1986, 85 or something. So I came up during the time that the shit was coming. I heard Kool Herc driving down the street with his motherfucking speakers in the back of his motherfuckers, sitting up like motherfucking statues. So I understand like the culture when it started and shit like that. And so do you. At the end of the day, how many black people like at this table was breakdancing? And how many of us are still doing it today? And how many black people in our neighborhoods, how many kids do you got? We all got kids. How many of our kids break dance? None of them. None of these motherfuckers is break.
Only against me.
So, and that's when they breaking shit in your house, nigga. I'm talking about dancing. So my point is this: these people are carrying the culture forward. We have stopped at some point, and that's to no one's fault, right? But these people from Morocco, Netherlands, Italy, France, Japan, China, Chinese Taipei. Like, I've seen motherfuckers from fucking Luxembourg, nigga, Lithuania, Ukraine. These motherfuckers is out there representing hip-hop culture. There ain't no other way to say it. That's what they're representing. They're not out there doing the fucking polka dance. They out there doing the shit that we created. And they're giving the world a view of what we do. And they embrace the culture. Like, when the songs are playing, these motherfuckers know the songs. They like, and when the songs, like, they'll do some shit like to the beat of the song, like, and they'll kick their legs up to match the song. So these motherfuckers is not only dancing, they know the songs, nigga. They know the culture. They have embraced it. To be a break dancer, you just can't say, I'm going to do some windmills and some shit, and I'm not going to know nothing about the music. I'm not going to know nothing about the history.
Yes, you can. Did
I'm
you
not
see
going to know
that
nothing about
Australian
any
lady?
of the shit.
Did you see the Australian lady?
First and foremost, who here really thinks that Australian lady was a good break dancer? No one. Y'all know that's when y'all act like she was like break dancing. That's some funny meme on the fucking internet, and that's the end of it. They put her out there because they needed a girl for whatever reason. Y'all know this girl was not a true break dancer. She went out there and rolled around on the fucking floor.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did.
That's what she did. We know that was not an intention for her, that she had no thought that she was going to win. Did you see the man from Australia? That nigga was out there doing fucking missiles. You know what a missile is? When you just jump in the air and you like this, and you spin it in the air, you land, and then you start doing motherfucking windmills on your goddamn elbows. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He can't teach her?
he could, but she don't know the shit. She, like I said, they just put her out there. That was not. There was no intention for her to win shit, right? But at the end of the day, the people who are out there, to your point, Ace, you said like world class. I know that they have world championships. Yes, they have a Red Bull series. They got a Monster series. They got world championships. I put online like the Freshest Kids, like a documentary that had Crazy Legs and all the shit, all the whole when breakdancing began. Like that's how immersed in it I am. Like I follow the shit. I follow these shit. I watch shit on YouTube where these motherfuckers have battles against one another and shit like that. So when I see these people in the Olympics, I know some of them. Like I've seen them before. So I know that these people are not like some fly-by-night bullshit. Like that lady from Australia, yes. I will fully admit that was some fly-by-night, rolling on the floor bullshit. Mm-hmm. But everybody else who I saw in there was doing their thing. And I don't think it was cultural appropriation because I think that they're just not out there to just take our shit and use it in a negative way.
And I don't think so. I don't think I'm saying that. But what I am saying is, I think because it's the first in the Olympics, there should have been a little more culture in it. I think they could have had more judges. I think they could have had we talked about this before the show, but I think they could have had a DJ, a known hip hop DJ up there. That I'm saying.
Yeah, give him the right records. He could do his thing. It don't matter.
And
the judges, I don't agree though. Let me make this point on the judges. The judges that I saw are judges that I've seen over like 10, 15, 20 years. They're experienced judges. If you just throw Crazy Legs up there and he ain't never judged no shit, and he don't know how to judge from a artistic perspective, the up rock, the footwork and all that. He knows how to do it all.
Yeah.
But has he ever judged? The people who I saw judging, I recognize them from other competitions, like the Red Bull series and all of that shit. I've seen a lot of them. So they're experienced judges.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question right here. If I hit you with this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Okay.
Like
I was just checking. I just checking.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Right, Matt's coming your way.
I'm looking at, I'm trying to get with the I told you I'm getting with the Senior Olympics.
Look.
Doom da da doom do do doom da da do 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 do.
Hey, but it was dope. I mean, so far, like the men's finals is coming on in 8 minutes.
I appreciate the fact that they, it's 50 years and they acknowledged it. I don't know if it should be something that's ongoing or be classified as a sport. I don't know. And growing up, I remember, we had Wide World of Sports. It would be all kind of shit on there.
Yeah.
The guy caught a bullet going through
shit.
a piece of glass or something in his teeth. So, I guess if that was on Wide World of Sports, potentially maybe. But should it really be a Olympic sport? I don't know. It absolutely should. You already acknowledged that it's ongoing, and they're ongoing competitions, DJ competitions, dancing.
Yep.
And in those dancing competitions, in the videos that I've seen better than what I saw in the Olympics. I seen shit that make me say, God, oh, they doing this shit now?
Yeah.
Like, if this is, it really shows where it started from. And what they do now is like, oh my God.
And I've seen some of that in the Olympics. Like I've been watching like all day yesterday and today. I watched almost all of the breaking competition. And I've seen shit like that. Like incredible
I think
aerial, dynamic moves.
I thought the breakers was dope, other than, Australian girl, you know what I'm saying? But everybody else. I mean, I respect them enough to know that they earned where they needed to be.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Without question. Other than that, there's going to be that one exception. But, she's going to be famous for forever.
Oh, yeah.
I might not remember. I won't remember the person who won. I will remember her.
You remember her, though.
And she's going to get some, she's going to get some, like some.
Oh, she's going to get
some Mop and Glow commercials and shit. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have her rolling on the floor and shit. They come back. So you need to clean your floor after somebody break dances on the rolls over your fucking floor like this. Molly, what that fucking name from Australia? They gonna have her come in that green ass suit, that damn teacher suit she had on and shit.
Oh
know what I'm saying? They have out there and shit.
Nah, that's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Mop and Glow, man. Don't, hey, I want my royalties, motherfucker.
Yeah, you better let them know.
My royalties, man. Yeah, and like I say, man, I hope they keep it because I think when they bring it to LA, man, we can grab a hold of it here, man. And they say what they want. I'm still in love with the culture, man. I'd love to see, you know, like I said, maybe an honorable judge or whatever. They would have had him up there.
I agreed to a point.
You know?
Like I think
maybe
you're
some
right.
other hosts. Some hosts would kill me.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I was just about to say the same thing. Like, anybody can fucking host. There
Yeah.
are a bunch of people with experience hosting shit, and the two dudes that hosted it, they're known for hosting events like that throughout the world. But you could have brought somebody else. Like Snoop Dogg came out.
Yeah.
Right? Did y'all see him
I
come
saw him
out?
come out.
And he started. He hit the cane on the
Yeah.
ground and shit. He could have been a fucking host. They just used him to come out there and kind of kick it off. That nigga could have hosted it. He about to do what's that show, The Voice or some shit
Yeah,
like
he
that.
about to do The Voice.
Nigga, he got experience doing shit. He did shows with Martha Stewart. He could have
Yeah.
easily hosted that shit or been one of the hosts, and they could have had somebody else up there, like a breaker. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to bring Crazy Legs in, I probably wouldn't want to be a judge, but if he was a host, that shit
That's
would have been
true.
dope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had opportunities to bring the culture in a lot better.
Okay, so I reserve my judgment until I see what goes on in 2028.
Yeah, they got to take some feedback from this shit and be
Yeah.
like, look, the Olympics ain't the same as, like, the Red Bull series. And I think what they did was they copied what they already do.
Yeah.
And they should have did it better. They should have did it bigger, like y'all are saying, to bring more of the culture in and celebrate it. They didn't do that. They made it just like it was just another breaking event in the fucking Monster series or the Red Bull
Yeah.
series. And it ain't. It ain't that. They should have differentiated it, like to y'all's point, and made it more of a celebration of our culture. Besides, the dance was a celebration of our culture, but they could have did a DJ.
Yeah.
They could have did different hosts. Like I said, I don't agree with the judge shit, but the other shit, I definitely agree with.
And I think if they would, I mean, like, we don't look at gymnastics and say, man, they should have jazzed up gymnastics. Like, I think if they would have kind of sat and made it just an event, but it seems like they went out of their way to kind of make it different. Like when they had the host and shit, and they were, oh, yeah, all right, well, y'all are trying to make it hip hop. Like they did, like, you know, gymnastics. They compete, we see them.
That's true.
And they just do it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a host and all of this stuff. But and almost to me, I'm not, like I said, I don't look at the Red Bull series. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like, to me, you got these two dudes intimidating a hip hop guy when you could have went and got
Yeah.
somebody to do that. That's what my take is.
And I agree with you from
You know what I mean?
someone from the outside looking in. Like
Yeah.
I said, I watched those series, so I've seen it's the exact same. They just did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But from somebody who's just seen it on Olympics and it's the first time, then you'd be like, "What the fuck is that shit?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I see that.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But hey, we way over today, but I think we had a great fucking show.
Absolutely.
You know, we had a great fucking conversation, man. I think that everybody out there, man, we brought the Tim Walz thing, and I just want to touch base on that. Like, Tim Walz is a great fucking choice. All right,
I
we
didn't
brought
see
these
it.
up
Came,
as,
I didn't
as
see it.
criticisms.
I didn't see it coming. But once
me
I
neither.
saw it, I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, you know, I didn't see Kamala coming." So
Exactly.
I'm 0 for 2, and
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm loving it too. Great
Yeah.
fucking choice. But we really wanted to highlight how they're gonna criticize dude because we really need to be ready to understand like the hypocrisy of some of their arguments. And really, this man made great decisions based off of data and information that he had available to him, and I think he made all the right decisions. So, and then when we go into Project 2025, like Ace said, this is a plan. This ain't some crazy cooped up shit. We ain't making up no shit like
This is
conspiracy
real.
theories. This is real shit that people are trying to do to America, not black people, not Hispanic. Like, are there some things that are going to impact black people and Hispanics more? Yeah, but they trying to do this to everyone.
Yeah.
'Cause I know plenty of white people, especially when I came up, that was in the same situation I was in. And guess what? When if these bills get passed, they ain't gonna just look at you because you white and say no. If you in the same situation and you need that public school and it's gone for you too.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna give you a brand new school to go to,
Yeah.
or no shit like that. So this is a plan that they trying to put in place.
They ain't cutting your taxes.
No, they ain't cutting your taxes,
Oh,
none of that
no.
shit. This is a plan they want to put in place to change the way that we live, and in a bad motherfucking way for us, and in a good motherfucking way for corporations. To your point about taxes and,
And
shit
billionaires.
like that. And billionaires, exactly. They putting more money in their hands. And then last but not least, Olympics, man. We doing a great fucking job. Our country represent, man. I know that we talk about
We're
how
not
bad
doing
we do.
great in men
Yeah.
passing the baton.
No, we not. We doing horrible in that shit. Them motherfuckers can't get a motherfucking baton around. But for everything else, man. In the Olympics, we doing great. I know on this show we talk a lot about the fuck ups of our country, but that's because we want our country to be better. We want our country to win.
Yes.
If you look at our country on several different categories and put us up against other countries around the world, whether it's education, whether it's medical, whether it's we behind every fucking body.
Admittedly, this year in the Olympics, I've watched more diverse type events than ever.
Me too. And it's because of I will say, to me, it's because of now we have so many different platforms to watch it on, like different channels, different online, all type of shit, man. And it's great for us to be able to celebrate our country. That's the point I wanted to make. We don't hate fucking America. We hate some of the shit that America's doing. We want it to be better. And we love America. That's why we root for America, and we always will. So thank you guys for watching, man. Y'all got anything to add before I go ahead and cut out of here?
Yeah, I got one thing. Like, one thing black people ain't gonna do is let these guys get over for messing up that handoff, man, in the 4x1. Nobody gonna do that. We seen y'all practice too much to do that. You don't blow the handoff, bro. Like, I don't know how y'all.
We got a history of that though.
Yeah, that's just what it is. So that's just what it is. So that's my last take on it. Like, stop, messing with Noah Miles and his bronze, but the 4x1. That's just close to black people, man. You can't blow the hand off, bro. You can lose the race, but you can't blow the hand off.
Hey, and I'm on the board for a nonprofit. We'll be having a golf tournament in October. I'll make sure I share the information on the Left-Wing Kingz site. Hopefully, if you care to donate, please do, or sponsor, or consider just coming out and golfing. You don't have to be a good golfer. Just need to come out and understand that, hey, you'll be helping out the community, because what we do is fund scholarships for junior ROTC students and help them getting their education, getting a start with their education, helping them get their foot in the door and get them off and running. So I'll make sure I place that information on the site there. Other than that, thank you for having me again. Hey. Been a pleasure again. We could just sit around and talk anytime.
Exactly. You know how it is, brother.
Absolutely.
So, hey, thank y'all for watching. We'll see you again next time.
All right.